You guys ready to go into 510? All right, so page 93 is where I'm at. 10.1. That warm up real quick. A negative times a negative gives you what kind of number? Positive. Negative times a positive. Positive times a negative. Positive times a negative gives you a negative. And then a positive times a positive is going to stay positive, right? So remember those rules. It's going to be coming up a lot today too, so we'll talk about it. The first one, 10.1, says which expression does not belong here? Jackson, you got one of them?
Negative 79.
Why negative 79?
Because there's no equation with it.
There's no equation, it's just a number.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything else on this one? Parker, which one of those don't belong?
Negative 79.
You agree with that?
I agree with that too.
You agree with that? Anybody got anything else? Or we all think negative 79? Everybody's on board with negative 79? All right. So this is another one of those where you can kind of pick any one of them, right? We can figure out something different with each one. Negative 79 is just a number. There's no multiplication or adding there. So that could be different. 7.9 plus x is the only one where we're adding, right? So that couldn't belong. 7.9 times negative 10 is the only one with a set of parentheses here. So that's different about that one, right? 7.9 times x is here with a variable, where we're multiplying with a variable. So this is one of those where you kind of pick your poison and pick which one doesn't belong for whatever reason. Just kind of try and get you to think outside the box, all right? So any one of those could be right with the right explanation there. All right? Moving on. 10.2 says we're supposed to match the expressions that are equal to each other. So what's the best way to figure out which one of these equal each other? All right, but how are we going to solve which ones equal each other? We got to find the answer, right? We just multiply. All right, so let's start here. Negative 1 times 12. What kind of number am I going to get, Jada? Negative. And 12 times 1? 12. So that one's just 12. All right, coming down here, we got three negative numbers. So if I have a negative 1 times a negative 3, what's our answer going to be there? Positive or negative 3? Positive 3, because we have two negatives, right? And then 3 times a negative 5 is going to give us what kind of number? Negative. And then 3 times 5 is 15. So our answer on that one's negative 15. Coming down here now, 1 times a negative 3, Lauren? Negative 3 times a negative 5. Careful. 15 on this one. Because we have a negative times a negative. All right, we got a fraction here. We have negative 1/2 times negative 16. So what kind of number are we going to get? Positive. And what's our answer on that one? 8. 1/2 times 16. So we just take half of 16. So our answer there is 8. How about this next one down now? We have negative 1/2 times 16. What kind of number am I going to get, Alicia? If I have a negative times a positive. If we have a negative times a positive, we're going to get a negative number there, okay? Different signs, we get a negative. All right, and then 1/2 of 16, we already said was 8. So this one's negative 8. All right, any of these equal so far? No. Not so far, right? We got a few of the same number, but we got different signs. So those would be opposites, not equals. Here we have a negative 1 times a negative 3, Thornton. Positive, and then 1 times 3. Times 4. 12. All right. So now, moving to the next column, we have a negative 64 times 1/8. Matt? Negative 8. Remember, we can make negative 64 into a fraction by just putting a 1 as the denominator. And then when we multiply fractions, we just go across. So if we'd simplify 64 over 8, negative, we get a negative 8 there. Are you okay with that? All right. So now, we got a few equal ones, huh? We have a negative 8 down here, and a negative 8 down here. So we can do a star or something there to say those ones are the same. How about -1 times -2, Carson? What kind of number am I going to get?
-2.
We have a negative times a negative.
Oh, just 2.
Just 2. It's positive, and then we take that times 6. 2 times 6 is 12. So now we have a 12 here and a 12 here. We can just circle those. Something, so they're the same. How about -1/4 times -32, Trey? What kind of number am I going to get?
Positive.
I'm going to get positive. And what would our answer be on that one?
Me. 8.
8. Same thing. Put 1 as the denominator there, multiply across, and then we'd simplify. -32 over -4. It's going to turn into a +8. So we can do like a box around that one or something to make it different. And we got an 8 over here. So far those match up. -3 times a +5, Cruz. Negative, and then 3 times 5? 15. So maybe, I don't know, I'm running out of stuff to do. Who's got another idea? Triangle? We'll throw a triangle right up there. Oops. -15. How about a -1 times a -3, Molly? 3 times a -4? -12. Square up here now? We'll go like that. Alright, so we're starting to match some up. I'll flip these around. So 8 matches with 8 here. And -8 matches -8. Alright. -3 times a -5, Abby. +15. We were doing triangles for 15, right? Or what did we do? We haven't done that yet? We'll do a circle up there. Alright. 1 times 15 should be pretty easy. 15. So 15 was our circle. -1 times a -12, Cameron. +12. Which we just circled the whole thing. -2 times 6, Ryder. -12. We got a box here. 2 times a -4, Leerud.
Would it be positive?
It'd be 8, but if we have a negative times a positive, what kind of number are we going to get? Negative. So -8 on that one, which we've been putting a star by. 2 times 4 should be pretty easy. It's just 8, right? And then 1 times a -15, Dakota, what kind of number am I going to get? Negative. And then 1 times 15 is just 15. So we got all those matched up. Just be really careful with your signs when we're multiplying. If we have the same sign, it's a positive number. Different sign, it's going to be a negative number, all right? All right, this next one. Ryder, you want to read that for me?
Evaluate the expressions in one of the columns. Your partner will work on the other column. Check in with your partner after you finish each row. Your answers in each row should be the same. If your answers aren't the same, work together to find the error.
All right, so you can do it on your own if you want, but we're going to work with a partner here. Do what it says, and each of you take a column. I don't care which column you take. But solve all of these on your own, and then once you're done solving, check with your partner and see if you got them right. Sound good? All right. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll do row C. I'll do column C. And you guys can do
He's gonna do column C.
I'll do column
I'll do column A.
I'll do column B.
I'll do column C.
You do A right. I'll do B.
You do A and B.
No,
I'll
no,
do C and D.
no. Okay, I'll do them all. If I can do them.
No, I
Signs, guys. Signs are important.
79.
No, hard to do like this. So that's something that. So they
79. Next up, this is no, it's not.
Wait, so would that work negative 60?
I got 4.
I think it should be
Yours?
negative 6.
No.
There'll still be one wrong.
Negative 0.6.
Yours
I'm trying to like, there's still a 1 there and there's a 0. Because one times that's one, right?
0.06. Negative
0.60.
Oh, I did.
Okay, yeah. What was it? Yeah.
Negative 6.0.
6, 0, 0, 0. Do you have to put like the bar above the 0 because it's equal 0, 0, 0, 0.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, I was just the bar above it. Yeah, but it's up to the bar.
We still have the bar.
It's in
Because the 0 continues until that's
How much is that? 0.
0 times 1, 2. Like 10. 0 times like 100.
It's still 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. But it's not, it's just 0, 0.
Okay, but what about this?
It's more than just.
What about the makes this number? Okay, let me go. What is
It's the
that?
exact same thing.
What is this?
It's so rude.
It's the
Not
exact
really.
I got 8.1.
Does it all, it looks the same to me.
I got 8.1.
Yeah, they're actually they are because this is yeah, this is a bit so
8.125.
yeah, this one is
But that means the whole thing has to be open.
technically this one's bigger because there's more zeros.
Oh, no.
There's more
Mine
zeros.
is
So that one's bigger.
No, the hotel has open yes.
It's negative.
Okay, did you get, what did you get for number first?
I don't know.
One times 2 times 2 times 2. Wait, the same one. Oh, this one is right.
This one is.
That's right.
I got negative 42 over 4. What you get? So, for me,
79, and that's negative, and that's 0.6.
Or
Make sure that
Make sure you have a line on this here.
to make sure it's continuous. Right? You guys do okay. Need help?
I got
65 over 8.
I got negative 2 over 5.
It's actually.
Oh, yeah, that would be negative.
It's like I heard that last night.
For the last one, we got
Mr. Stott, need help. Okay, so no. Wait, so what if it's negative?
Jack, did you put 69?
Would I be negative?
No, I didn't.
90 negative? Yes, you are.
It looks like there's a bunch of 7 twos there, because like
All your numbers are negative.
you get the 2. You see? No. Look at this. This is not like a 2. That looks like a 2. Those look like 2s like those. Those look like 2s.
No, they do look like
What?
That's a big 8.
We're already on the
They're not connected, that's a U.
That's so bad. Ew, what the heck? No, look at him.
They're
Look at him. Look at him. They get bigger, smaller, big, small.
Get back on track.
Put the hat on, yeah?
That's a U.
All right, guys, let's talk about it. You gonna get back to your spots?
Negative.
Jackson, Trey, you guys want to get back to your spot? Dieterly, Ryer, put your desk back, please.
Get her. Oh, I got buns on too.
All right. 790 divided by 10. What should we got there? Jada? 79. We know they're supposed to be the same, but if we take 7.9 times 10, 79. Anybody get anything different?
It's negative 6.0 with the continuous on top.
Negative 6 is good.
0.0.
All right. And negative 6 is good there too.
0. You forgot the point 0. And then you gotta put the line above it.
You don't.
It's continuous.
All right. Row 3. Dakota? Just 4.2? Negative 4.2, right? Remember those signs, a negative times a positive is always a negative. So then over here, we would have got a fraction. Thornton? Did you have your hand up?
Negative 8.4 over 2.
Negative 8.4 over 2. And if you take 8.4 divided by 2, it'll be 4.2. You don't have to. You don't have to. But those are the same value. Next row, Matt. What'd you get?
Negative 8.1 and a 2 repeated.
All right.
2 is repeated.
I think it should have been.
Just like the zeros.
I left there.
Yep. All right, and then over here we should have got our fraction. What'd you get, Carson?
Huh?
What? He said it. 65 over
Did you do column B?
Yeah.
All right, so 65 over 8
Negative 65.
would be your answer there, which if you'd make into a mixed number or a decimal, would be negative 8.125. I don't think we should have got repeating there. We should have just came out whole. You're going to have to drop that one. All right, last row. Abby, what'd you get?
Me and Cameron don't really know.
Okay.
We both are both wrong.
All right, did anybody get an answer on this one? Jackson?
I got 23260.0.
All right, that's a little high. Trey, what'd you get?
I got 233.6.
That's what I got too. 233.6. If we multiplied, so you got to watch your decimals there. We have 2 negatives and 1 positive, so we're going to get a positive number. Did you get it right? Good job. All right, that should have been the same thing over there. Good job, Carson. All right, so those are all equal to each other, just like we found out. All right, we got a couple extra homework questions today, so let's go over those. We have 7 today. All right. All right, let's go over this quick. Let's go over this quick so you have more time to work, huh? Ready to go? All right. 1 says evaluate each expression. Carson Parker, you with me? All right, we did a few like this yesterday, I believe, right? So you guys should be able to handle those ones. 2, again, we're just evaluating, but we got 3 numbers. Watch your signs here. All right, make sure we get the right sign. The multiplication should be pretty easy, but watch your sign there. 3 should be pretty easy too. We're just ordering each set of numbers from least to greatest. So be careful with your negative signs here too, all right? Make sure we're keeping an eye on those. 4 gives us 30 plus a negative 30 equals 0. For A, it says write another sum of two numbers that equals 0. You guys know how we do that one?
Yes.
We just write a pair of opposite numbers there, right? That would equal 0. B says write a sum of three numbers that equal 0. So you got to come up with three numbers that add or subtract up to equal 0. Or sum, so you got to add. And then C says write a sum of four numbers that equal 0. And it says none of them are opposites. So you got to do four different numbers on that one, all right?
So can it be any number?
It can be any number, but they can't be, you can't do like -6 and 6.
Okay.
You just got to be four different numbers there. All right? 5 says a submarine is searching for underwater features, is accompanied by a small aircraft and an underwater robotic vehicle. At one time, the aircraft is 200 meters above the surface, submarine is 55 meters below the surface, and the robot is 227 meters below. So we're just looking for the difference in height there. We've done plenty like that. Remember, we can draw a graph like this if we want, or here's sea level, and then we can plot our guys on this line to help if that gets a little bit confusing, but you guys have seen problems like this and should be able to handle that one. 6 says Claire is cycling at a speed of 12 miles per hour. If she starts at a position chosen as 0, what will her position be after 45 minutes? So what are we looking for position? What did we say that was another way to say the other day? Remember our formulas from the other day? You know which one we might use? If we're given, or not 0. We're given our time here and our rate here. So what do we get when we have our rate times our time? Distance. So we're going to use that distance formula here. All right? Same thing on B and C there. 7, we had one like this yesterday too. Just says fill in the missing numbers in these equations, so we're just looking for the question marks. All right, any questions on that stuff? All right, you got about 12 minutes to get a good head start on that if you want to get working.